can finish here, Lena. You better go start tidying up in the dining room.
I can't do that right now, Mrs. Hawkins. Young Miss Pamela is still dawdling with her breakfast.
Find my way with that young lady. She would be up and out of here long before this. She's getting to become a lazy labe. It's a wonder her father puts up with her. Such a hard-working, industrious man, Mr. Guthrie. But that daughter of his.
She's an awful nice girl, Mrs. Hawkins. Just a bit lazy and a trifle waste, but ever so kind and full of fun. She always has a joke and a smile.
Her and her jokes. I'm running out of patience with her. Always thinking about ways for her poor father to be spending more money. What do you think the latest is?
I don't know. She has about everything.
And now she wants a tennis court back of the garage. Gave her poor father no peace till he consented. Now have all that dirt and mess tracked into the house.
Good morning, Mrs. Hawkins. Hello, Lena. Did you hear the one about the city fellow who was lost and asked the farmer for directions? He said, "Say, mister, can you tell me where this road goes?"
And the farmer said,
"Well, I've never seen it go anywhere, son. It just stays right here in the same place."
Another score for you, Lena. We must read the same joke books.
Now be careful with those crumbs, Miss Pamela. Lena and I have just about finished cleaning up here.
I'll be careful, Mrs. Hawkins. I just came to tell you the good news.
Has your vacation been cut short this year?
Now, Mrs. Hawkins, don't tell me you're so anxious to get rid of me. No, ma'am. It's about the tennis court. Dad told me last night the bulldozer will be here this morning.
Then
I want to see the men before they start.
Then you better go outside and wait for them.
I want to tell them to clear the land on the south lawn.
"Not the south lawn, Miss Pamela."
And why not? What's the matter with the south lawn? It's an ideal spot for the tennis court.
"But that's where the prettiest trees are. Surely you wouldn't want to destroy them."
Trees? We've got hundreds of trees. Who cares about a few trees more or less? We'll never miss some.
But your father said the tennis court would be strictly back of the garage. He never said a word about the south lawn, Miss Pamela.
He doesn't know anything. Dad doesn't know anything about tennis.
But he knows plenty about trees, Miss Pamela. You better speak to him before you go giving those men any orders about tearing up the south lawn.
He won't, Carolina. I know he won't. He told me this whole project would be my responsibility. Oh boy, here they are. I'll go talk to the men right away.
Oh dear, Mrs. Hawkins, now what are we going to do?
I know what you're going to do, but I'm going straight to that telephone and calling Mr. Guthrie before that young rascal takes it through her head and runs the tennis court straight through the front hall.
Miss Pamela will be furious.
It's the trees that I'm thinking about. Who cares about Miss Pamela?
Me too, Mrs. Hawkins. I've never cared so much about trees since my little cousin Ginger joined the tree troopers. She taught me that trees can be almost as friendly and neighborly as people.
Tree troopers? Are they the little kids who come over here every Saturday morning to look at the trees?
Yes, I knew Mr. Guthrie wouldn't mind because they never harm anything on the grounds. Oh, please hurry, Mrs. Hawkins. Get a hold of Mr. Guthrie before those men start work.
Hello, Mr. Guthrie's office, please. Hello, Miss Stanley. Hi, this is Mrs. Hawkins. May I speak to Mr. Guthrie right away? It's very important. What? He's gone out? Oh, mercy me. Can you tell him when I can reach him? Not before 1 o'clock. Oh, dear, that will be too late. Well, if he happens to come in the meantime, please tell him to call us home. Thank you. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Now what are we going to do, Mrs. Hawkins? Those men will have the south lawn a wreck before we can get a hold of Mr. Guthrie.
Well, I have a good mind to go outside and give those men a piece of my mind.
It won't do any good, Mrs. Hawkins. You know how Miss Pamela is when she gets her mind set on something.
Stop it! Don't touch those trees!
No, what's that?
Let's go see.
Hey, Beck, did you hear about the shooting on the news?
What shooting?
Yeah, I heard 7 people died.
Who died? You don't know where it could happen next. Help! They're coming to get me! No one's coming to get you. But Jennifer, you said it could happen anywhere.
That's right, Jennifer. They know that guns are bad, but they don't know that much about gun safety.
Well, the first thing you should know is never touch. Never touch.
Then tell an adult what you found.
Never touch, tell adult. And if your friend is going to touch one, tell them no. Never touch, tell adult, tell friend no.
The reason we're telling you this is to keep you and everyone around you safe.
Keep me safe. When we were younger, we learned a phrase. Stop, don't touch, leave the area, tell an adult. Stop, don't touch, leave the area, tell an adult. Now that I know more about gun safety, I'm not so scared.
Now all you have to do is remember what we told you.
Okay. Don't you dare get off my property!
Ginger, stop it! What's happened?
So you know one of these lawbreakers, these trespassers. I told you that we know Lena and we're not trespassers. We have permission to be here. Lena, I demand to know who this little monster is.
She's my cousin, Ginger Davis, Miss Pamela. I told her she could bring her friends over here on Saturday mornings to look at the trees. They didn't hurt anything.
Hurt anything? Take a good look at my face. Look at these scratches. I am black and blue from the knees down. They're a bunch of wildcats, both of them. They should be locked up. Oh, Lena, she's going to destroy our trees, our beautiful, beautiful trees. We tried our best to save them, but she and those men are bigger than we are. The little monsters threw themselves right in the path of the bulldozer and fought like tigers when I tried to drag them out of the way. In fact, 3 others are sitting out there right now during the bulldozer crew to come a step farther.
And what are the bulldozer men doing all this time?
Laughing mostly, they seem to think it's a big joke. But I'll show them it's not so funny. You keep these kids here while I'll go dragging the others.
Now stop this commotion, all of you. I will have no more fighting, scratching, or kicking. Shame on you kids for forgetting your manners. And shame on you, Miss Pamela, for fighting with 2 kids half your size. What would your father say?
What would her father say about what, Miss Hawkins? What's going on here?
Oh, Mr. Guthrie, thank fortune you're home.
I thought I'd better drop in for a final word with the bulldozer crew before I went on my board meeting. What's all the trouble? And who are all these children? Friends of yours, Pamela?
They're no friends of mine, Father. They're trespassers. That's what they are.
You're not trespassers.
You can decide that for yourself, sir. When you hear how they've been holding up the bulldozer for more than a half an hour.
More than a half an hour? I'm paying those men quite a sum of money, and I want them to get to work immediately.
But Mr. Guthrie, they're going to destroy all our beautiful trees.
My holly tree is right in its path.
And my big white pine.
And my lovely lacy tamarack.
What are you talking about? There are no trees at all back of the garage. I'll listen to your story later. But right now, I have to get those men on the job.
But Mr. Guthrie, sir, those men aren't working back at the garage.
Then for goodness sake, where are they working?
On the south lawn, sir.
On the south lawn? Thunderation! How did those blockheads ever make such an error? I distinctly told them the tennis court was to be back of the garage.
But Dad, the south lawn is a much better spot.
Much better spot, my eye. Don't you know the finest trees on the place are on the south lawn? Lena, Miss Hawkins, quick. Tell those men to hold everything till they receive further orders from me. Get them stopped immediately.
Yes, sir.
Dad, I don't think you'll have to stop them. They haven't even started. And the little monsters wouldn't let them. And they have 3 more of their helpers out there right this minute.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Guthrie, for saving our trees.
You're more than welcome, young lady, but I must say, whose trees am I saving here?
Ours! Oh, dear, I guess you don't understand. We know all the trees on the place belong to you, sir, but, well, you see, they belong to us, too.
What right do you have to say a thing like that?
The right of adoption. You see, miss, we adopted them.
Adopted them?
Who ever heard of adopting a tree?
Perhaps I can explain, Mr. Guthrie.
Miss Conway, how did you get here?
I ran over to her house and got her to talk to the bulldozer boss. We were afraid we couldn't get them to stop from starting to work.
But we knew they'd listen to Miss Conway.
I'm Emily Conway, Mr. Guthrie, and these kids are in my class at school. I took the liberty of asking the bulldozer boss to wait further to await further orders from you before they do any tearing up the south lawn. I thought for sure you wouldn't want such valuable property destroyed.
And you are entirely right. The whole thing was a mistake, a very bad mistake, made by my daughter, Pamela.
Sally, Dad, I'm sorry.
We'll take care of that later. But right now, I want to know more about this business of tree adoption. These children have taken a big interest in saving my property, and I'm curious to know why.
It's because we've been reading and studying about trees and soil conservation, Mr. Guthrie. You see, each child in my class adopted a tree for a year, so they could study it and get to know it almost as well as a personal friend. They've kept records for every one of the seasons. They've studied the leaves, the buds, and the branches. They've made leaf prints and taken measurements, and they reported every item of interest or change that they have noticed in the growth of the tree.
We live in Maytown Heights, Mr. Guthrie. It's a new development, and there aren't any trees at all. So Lena said we could adopt some of your trees if we promised not to hurt anything. I guess you should have asked her first, but she didn't think you'd mind.
Mind? Of course I don't mind. I think it's a splendid idea.
I adopted the American elm near the south gate because I love the graceful shape of the tree and because it has played such an important part in our history. William Penn signed his famous treaty with the Indians under an elm tree, and Washington took command of his troops under an elm tree in Cambridge, Massachusetts in 1775.
My adopted tree is a big white pine near his house. I chose it because it is so easy to recognize with its long, slender needles arranged in groups of 5. And anyhow, I think it is the most important forest tree in all of North America because the first American homes and much of the pioneer furniture were made of the wood of the white pine.
Nobody would want my tree for its value of its wood, but everybody loves it because of its beauty, especially at Christmas time. I adopted the big American holly tree in the center of the south lawn, and when I saw that bulldozer heading for it, I just felt sick all over. Every year, hundreds of holly trees are hurt and injured by thoughtless people so that they are dying out. It takes so long for a young tree to grow at any size.
I adopted my tree because it has so many names. Some people call it a larch, others call it the tamarack, and still others call it the habitat. It has needles and cones, but it's not evergreen. It loses its leaves every season and looks as if it is dead in the wintertime. But in spring and summer, it is a beautiful lacy green. I always thought the most deadly enemy of my tree was an insect called the sawfly. But when I saw that bulldozer this morning, I knew that it was more dangerous than a sawfly.
I never knew how much I loved my great, big, handsome scarlet oak until I saw it right in the path of that bulldozer.
And that's how I felt about my copper beech. It never looked so beautiful before.
I guess you won't believe it, but I think my tree understood its own danger. I bet the leaves on my trembling aspen trembled harder than ever when that bulldozer came in sight.
I must say, Miss Conway, I never saw children with such appreciation and understanding of trees.
We've learned from our study and observation that trees live to give. And whenever we look at a tree, we think of the gifts it has for us.
I wish my daughter had that kind of knowledge and understanding of trees, Miss Conway.
Gee whiz, Dad, you make me feel like a murderer or something. I know all that stuff about trees. How they give us shade and shelter, how they help clean the atmosphere, and how they supply us with many necessary things of life. But, well, I just didn't think about all that. I was too keen on getting my tennis court.
Well, you can forget about your tennis court. Now, Pamela, until you have learned a better set of values, I don't think you deserve a tennis court.
Yes, sir.
Those trees you would so carelessly destroy have taken many years to grow and develop. They could never be replaced in your lifetime.
Excuse me, Mr. Guthrie, but we were very much like Pamela before we started our conservation study. We knew the facts about trees and their importance to man, but we were never actually realized what trees do until we began going on field trips with Miss Conway.
We visit with farmers and talk to them about their woodlots. We learn how trees actually fertilize and enrich their soil.
And we went to South Mountain after the forest fire last summer and saw how tragic a mountain could be after the trees had been destroyed.
We investigated the source of our water supply and found out that our drinking water comes from springs that flow from tree-covered watersheds.
Then I went to the water company and saw the conservation project. How they planted thousands of trees near the impounding basin to protect us from a bad water shortage or a severe drought.
But even then, we really didn't appreciate trees as a living thing until we adopted one of our own and watched it grow.
My best lesson on trees was moving to Maytown Heights. We have a nice home there, but I do wish we had some trees. The people are still having trouble with their landscaping and drainage. The terraces are all sliding downhill. There's no shady place for the little children to play, and the whole place is so barren without trees.
My father used to say the best way to learn to love trees was to plant them. We used to quote a little verse by Henry Van Dyke, and I've always carried it with me on all our expeditions. It said, "He that planteth a tree is a servant of God. He provideth a kindness that will last for many generations, and faces that he hath not seen will be blessed." Perhaps if Pamela had a tree planting project.
Say, Dad, that gives me an idea. Why can't I plant some trees? Not in our garden, but somewhere else. Someplace where they're really needed, like Maytown Heights, for instance.
Oh, Pamela, do you really mean it?
Sure, I mean it. Anyone who loves trees as much as you kids should have some of your very young. How about it, Dad? I could buy some trees out of my allowance.
And I'm sure you could get the support of the Conservation Society and the water company. They are only too anxious to have young people plant seedlings and young trees. Go ahead, Pamela, and see what you can do.
When can we start?
I'd suggest we make a tour of the town first, Pamela, to see what kind of shade trees or evergreens are best suited for a town like Maytown Heights. I have my station wagon, and we could all pile in and do a little checking before we decide on what kinds of trees to plant.
How about it, kids? Will I be safe of attack if I join your tree scouting expedition?
You're safe as long as our adopted trees are safe.
Is it okay with you, Dad?
It's 100% okay with me. From what I've seen of these young kids, they'll keep you so busy you won't have any time to get into any mischief.
Thank you, Mr. Guthrie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Guthrie.
Well, things are all worked out. The tennis court is going to be put on hold till we can find a good place for it.
Well, I'm glad everything is resolved.
What was all the commotion about?
Trees. Me and Pamela have learned a lot about trees in just a short time, and we're going to try to save the many trees that we do have.
We do have many beautiful trees in our garden.
And some are varieties that aren't often found. I sure would have hated to see them get plowed down. Trees give a lot to our environment.
This reminds me of a book I often read as a little girl, The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein.
The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein. Once there was a tree, and she loved a little boy. And every day the boy would come, and he would gather her leaves and make them into crowns and play king of the forest. He would climb up her trunk and swing from her branches and eat apples, and they would play hide and go sleep. And when he was tired, he would sleep in her shade. And the boy loved the tree very much, and the tree was happy. But time went by, and the boy grew older, and the tree was often alone. Then one day the boy came to the tree, and the tree said, "Come, boy, and come climb up my trunk and swing from my branches and eat my apples and play in my shade and be happy." "I am too big to climb and play," said the boy. "I want to buy things and have fun. I want some money. Can you give me some money?" "I'm sorry," said the tree, "but I have no money. I have only leaves and apples. Take my apples, boy, and sell them in the city. Then you'll have money, and you will be happy." And so the boy climbed up the tree and gathered her apples and carried them away, and the tree was happy. But the boy stayed away for a long time, and the tree was sad. And then one day the boy came back, and the tree shook with joy. She said, "Come, boy, come climb my trunk and swing from my branches and be happy." "I'm too busy to climb trees," said the boy. "I want a house to keep me warm," he said. "I want a wife. I want children. And so I need a house. Will you give me a house?" "I have no house," said the tree. "The forest is my house. But you may cut off my branches and build a house. Then you will be happy." And so the boy cut off her branches and carried them away to build his house. And the tree was happy. But the boy stayed away for a long time, and then he came back. The tree was so happy she hardly could speak. "Come, boy," she whispered, "come and play. I am too old and sad to play," said the boy. "I want a boat that will take me far, far away from here. Can you give me a boat?" "Cut down my trunk and make a boat," said the tree, "and then you can sail away and be happy." And so the boy cut down her trunk and made a boat and sailed away. And the tree was happy, but not really. After a long time, the boy came back again. "I'm sorry, boy," said the tree, "but I have nothing left to give you. My apples are gone. My teeth are too weak for apples," said the boy. "My branches are gone," said the tree. "You cannot swing on them. I'm too old to swing on branches," said the boy. "My trunk is gone," said the tree. You cannot climb." "I am too tired to climb," said the boy. "I'm sorry," sighed the tree. "I wish I could give you something, but I have nothing left. I'm just an old stump. I'm sorry." "I don't need very much now," said the boy. "Just a quiet place to sit and rest. I'm very tired." "Well," said the tree, straightening herself up as much as she could, "well, an old stump is good for sitting and resting. Come, boy, sit down and rest. Sit down and rest." And the boy did, and the tree was happy. The end.
Hi, my name is Kathy Fleming, and I played the part of Eleanor, and I adopted the Scarlet Goat.
Hi, I am Mary Graham, and I played Mrs. Conway, the teacher and also the troop leader.
Hi, my name is Elaine Gamalski, and I played the part of Pamela Guthrie.
Hi, my name is Bradley Pesvantis, and I played the part of Mr. Guthrie.
My name is Veronica Ward, and I played the part of Lena, the maid.
I am Kelly Carter.
Hi, I'm Marianne Huddy. Hi, I'm Beth Sullivan. Hi, I'm Jeffrey Walker.
Hi, I'm Marlene Nowak.
Hi, my name is Alistair Giles. Audio. My name is Philip Degnan.
Hi, I'm William Garwood.
Hi, my name is Ryan Breyer, and I played the part of Kyle, and I adopted the Tamarack.
Hi, I'm Chris Miller, and I played the part as Mark, and I adopted the White Pine.
I am Michael Bogner, and I played the part as John, and I adopted the Holly Tree.
I'm Darcy Todd, and I played the part of Gwen, and I adopted the Trembling Aspen. Hi, I'm Samantha McMullen, and I played the part of Shirley, and I adopted the Copper Beech. Hi, I'm Rachel Kearney, and I played the part of Ginger, and I adopted the American Owl.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Rock, and this is my 1999-2000 class of a production of a tree adoption about tree conservation called The Right of Adoption. And thank you for watching. We appreciate it.